Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:35 p.m. It is on Spain mainland or Spanish mainland time. 6:35, of course, in the Canary Islands. Going to look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention today in the press. I'm going to be honest, not a lot of stories out there. We are in a very quiet month as far as news is concerned. All of the politics has been put on hold for the month of August, unless something exceptional happens, of course. And we'll also take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. And we'll also go into the live chat and check out what is happening there too. Now, we'll get straight into the news. And as we know, it is very, very hot in some parts of Spain currently. Records being broken in unusual parts of the country, I would say, as we can see here from this piece of news. Spain's heatwave intensifies. Over 1,600 municipalities at high health risk. Spain is now on its third consecutive day of extreme heat, with 1,654 municipalities classified as high-risk health zones due to soaring temperatures. According to the State Meteorological Agency, the AEMET, the hottest location on Monday was Rivadavia in Galicia, which recorded 42.8 degrees Celsius. However, experts stress that the greatest health danger lies not where temperatures are highest, but where populations are less adapted to the extreme heat. The current heatwave is expected to persist until at least Sunday, with temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius across southern and central regions, while northern areas may see some relief. Tuesday's forecast predicts highs of above 34 to 35 degrees Celsius for most of the country. By Wednesday, temperatures may drop slightly in the Mediterranean and northwest, but rise in the north and islands. Health warnings are based on research from the Carlos III Health Institute, which links extreme temperatures to increase mortality, especially in vulnerable meteosalud zones defined by their daily temperature patterns. So the heat wave in Spain intensifying, as we can see there, the third day of extreme heat today, Tuesday. Tomorrow cooling down in some parts of the country, as we saw there, but getting hotter in other parts of the country. And we saw there also that this heat wave is going to be around until at least Sunday. So as I said the other day, if you're in Spain, take care, stay out of the heat during those peak midday hours, get out of the sun, and try to keep well hydrated, refreshed. If you if you can find a swimming pool, take a dip. If you're on the coast, keep cool and use the air conditioning if you have access to it also. Second piece of news, and keeping on the topic of the heat wave, as we can see here, Badajoz in southwestern Spain, becomes Spain's frying pan as heatwave turns deadly. Badajoz in western Spain has become one of the country's hottest cities during this relentless second summer heatwave. On Sunday, it recorded Spain's highest temperature at 43.4 degrees Celsius, surpassing other sweltering cities like Montoro, Mérida, and Bailén. Residents are struggling to cope, describing the situation as unbearable and saying that they can't even breathe. Despite many locals being on holiday, life in Badajoz continues at a slower pace. Streets are quieter, parking is easier, and construction workers attempt to continue despite the punishing heat. Unions have called for restricted working hours to be extended across the whole summer. A level orange heat alert has been issued for nearly all of Extremadura, and tragedy struck when an 85-year-old woman died from heat-related causes, the second fatality in the region this summer. Tourists brave enough to visit the city's landmarks, like the Alcazaba fortress, do so under scorching conditions, often swapping beach holidays for blistering city heat. So the situation in one of Spain's cities there, the oven of Extremadura, Badajoz, 43 degrees plus, 43.4 degrees recorded yesterday, and people unfortunately losing their lives in that heat. The second fatality in that part of Spain, as we saw there. So very, very hot, and people going to that part of the country, as we saw there, for tourism reasons, trying to visit the monuments. And I imagine that people that do that that type of tourism in the month of August are most likely to expect this type of extreme temperatures. And I've often thought that it's crazy to be doing that type of tourism at this time of year in Spain, in cities like Badajoz. But for some people, that's the type of holiday that they like to do, as we can see there. But very, very hot temperatures there, and unfortunately, people losing their lives in the extreme temperatures there, especially the most vulnerable, the elderly, as we saw. Third, and just to put on the map, I forgot about this. Somebody suggested it the other day. Put on the map where these places are that I talk about here in Spain. People not familiar maybe with Spanish geography, and we can see Badajoz is the area there in red in western Spain or southwestern Spain, whatever you want to say, the second last province in southwestern Spain before you hit Huelva, which is in Andalusia. Badajoz, of course, in Extremadura. So the maps have come into play on the channel. Next piece of news here now, and bad news for air travellers, because the UGT union has called for a nationwide Ryanair ground staff strike in Spain from the 15th of August. Spanish trade union UGT has called a nationwide strike affecting Azul Handling, Ryanair's ground operations subsidiary in Spain, starting the 15th of August. The strike is in protest against worker sanctions and the excessive use of additional or complementary working hours. The industrial action will initially take place on the 15th, 16th and 17th of August, and then continue every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday until the 31st of December 2025. According to UGT's statement, it will affect all Ryanair bases and work centres across Spain. The strike is scheduled in 3 daily time slots: 5 to 9 a.m., 12 to 3 p.m. and 9 to 11:59 p.m. Ryanair's Spanish bases include major airports such as Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Seville, Malaga, Alicante, Ibiza, Palma de Mallorca, Girona, Tenerife South, Lanzarote and Santiago de Compostela. UGT's aviation division has also requested formal mediation via SIMA, Spain's interconfederal mediation and arbitration service, as a preliminary step before the full national strike begins. So that is what we're also dealing with in Spain this summer, and I think I talk about this every summer when I do these videos, that these airline strikes or ground staff strikes occur during the busiest month, coinciding with a public holiday. Of course, the 15th of August, I think, is a public holiday, and the union UGT calling for that strike. We'll see if Ryanair works it out with the union and its representatives, and strike action does not take place, but it could affect a lot of people that are traveling to Spain on that very popular airline that is Ryanair during the month of August and the subsequent months, as we saw there, because they're planning, if they don't reach an agreement with Ryanair, to continue the strike all the way through to December. So, the unions trying to affect people's travel plans in August. Next piece of news, and the final piece of news, this one here, and 6 Spanish towns are still defying the memory law by keeping Franco-era names. Spain's village of Villafranco de Guadalhorce in Malaga has officially voted to change its name to Villa del Guadalhorce, removing the reference to dictator Francisco Franco. The decision, supported by the PSOE party, the United Left Party, and 100% Alaurín, faced opposition from the PP and Vox parties. However, 6 other towns across Spain still retain names linked to Franco or key figures from the dictatorship and pre-Civil War era, despite the 2022 Democratic Memory Law, which mandates the removal of such references. These towns are Llanos del Caudillo in Ciudad Real, Alberche del Caudillo in Toledo, Villafranco de Guadiana in Badajoz, Alocero de Mola in Burgos, Quintanilla de Onésimo in Valladolid, and San Leonardo de Yagüe in Soria. Legal expert Eduardo Ranz criticizes the lack of sanctions and calls for enforcement of the law. He urges the government to fulfill its responsibility in removing Francoist symbols, warning that the law must not remain unenforced. So an interesting story there for people interested in history, especially some of the names that still persist in Spain, town names that have connections with that Franco period in Spain. For example, the ones that we can see there on the screen currently, two of them containing the name Caudillo, which was a popular name that people called Franco back in the day, El Caudillo, and other places that included his name in the town's name, and other members of his regime back in the day, or prominent army figures, I think, during the Civil War. For example, General Yagüe, I think he was prominent during the Civil War, I believe. There used to be a street in Madrid called General Yagüe, but of course it was removed back some 10, maybe 15 years ago, maybe less, maybe a little bit sooner than that, because of the historical memory laws that have come into Spain that are trying to eradicate all of the names associated with that period of time, and some villages or towns in Spain still holding on to those names, which some people think should be changed. And of course they go to a popular vote, and we saw that town in Malaga deciding to indeed change the name of the town. So interesting, as I said, for people that love Spanish history, or like Spanish history especially, from that interesting period during the dictatorship. Now, into the comments we will go. We'll see what has been bubbling away in the chat section on the channel in recent times. We'll look at this one here firstly from Steady BCN. I used to live quite close to popular holiday towns and villages in Ireland. Of course, the same trend, extremely busy during summer months and practically ghost towns in winter. Is this not to be expected? Yes, Steady BCN, thanks for the comment. I suppose it is to be expected in some parts of the country. We saw an article, I think, in yesterday's news update that said that some towns in Spain do suffer this phenomenon, 3 times the population in summer, and of course come September, come October, when people from central Spain go back to their routines, a lot of these towns become virtual ghost towns. And one of the cities mentioned, I think, was the town of Noja in Cantabria, very close to the Basque Country, that has a population that swells to over 100,000 in summer, and I think it sits at around 10,000 or less during the rest of the year. So the increase in population putting pressure on services there, transport services, traffic services, health services, no doubt as well, and the businesses that boom during those summer months probably forced to close down during the winter months. I don't know, but this is a phenomenon in many places, and yeah, it happens in other parts of the world as well. Mentioning Ireland there. But here in Spain, with so many second residencies that people have in these coastal towns, and the housing crisis, is there a way not to work it out, maybe to get people into accommodation? I don't know, and bring life back to some of these towns that are absolutely dead during the winter, but packed full of people in the summer. I don't know. Another one here from Paul. Pedro Sanchez has brought a lot of success to Spain. The Economist is speaking for the very wealthy who don't like the Spanish tax system. Keep going, Senor Sanchez. I love the idea of the bull. Please bring it to Monovar. The bull is a symbol of Spain and its history. Yeah, another person here from the Pedro Sanchez fan club. We saw somebody on Sunday, I think, also praising the work of Pedro Sanchez over the last seven or so years as Spanish Prime Minister, or President of the government, as he likes to be called. And this person here also praising Mr. Sanchez. What were the exact words? Let me put them on the screen again if I can find them. Has brought a lot of success to Spain. The Economist is speaking only for the very wealthy, because as we know, the Economist the other day called for Mr. Sanchez to stand down, perhaps rethink his position as the head of the government, and step down, as I said. So, yeah, I don't think Mr. Sanchez is going to listen to The Economist. He's currently having a luxurious holiday in a former royal palace that was owned by the King of Jordan on the island of Lanzarote, with the biggest security cordon, I think, in history for a Spanish Prime Minister, because that's how popular he is. But, of course, one person there praising Mr. Sanchez, or two people, in fact, praising Mr. Sanchez in recent times on the channel. And about the bull, the giant bull, bring it to your town. Go for it. Go for it. I'm sure it will be an absolute standout, a 300-meter tall statue of a bull. Thanks for the comment. One here from David. Trust me, Torrevieja is no ghost town. The roads in and out are always congested, whereas they were fairly quiet up to the beginning of 2020. The influx of foreign buyers are pushing up the population, and the local infrastructure is struggling to cope with it. Admittedly, there is a high percentage of second home ownership, but the area is noticeably busier all year round and not just the summer months. Thanks, David, for the comment there. Torrevieja was one of the towns mentioned in the article the other day that, according to El País, becomes a ghost town. But David here saying that no, that is not the case. Torrevieja is not a ghost town, busy all year round, apparently, and infrastructure under pressure most of the year. And since 2020, that has been the case. What is the situation there? Foreign buyers probably buying up property there, because I don't think many Spanish people, young Spanish people, are moving to that part of the country. Maybe retirees. I know personally people that live in Madrid and have a holiday home in Torrevieja, retired of course. They head down there for 3 or 4 months during the summer, trying to get on the coast into a cooler climate, if you like, more Mediterranean style climate. And even in the winter months, they tend to head down there as well, I think. But obviously very popular with foreign buyers as well. Maybe because of the price. I don't know what property prices are like in Torrevieja, but I have heard that it's one of the more economical parts on the Mediterranean coast. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section below. But I think that's one of the reasons why it has become so popular with not only foreign buyers, but also Spanish people as well that have been investing in that city for decades and decades. Thanks, David, for the comment. Another one here from Chris. I disagree with the statement left by a viewer that the left hates entrepreneurs. Spain in itself has had and still has a problem with fostering self-employed and small business entrepreneurs, no matter who is at the helm. Stop making it all left versus right. It solves nothing. Chris, thanks for the comment. This was also something mentioned on the channel yesterday. Somebody saying that the Spanish left is anti-business. But I would agree with Chris here that it's not necessarily a political thing. It's just the way the country works. Spain is a country that has set up a system that does not favour small business in any way, shape or form. Whether you are a sole proprietor, whether you are trying to employ 3 or 4 people in a small business, it's very, very difficult to get your business off the ground. And as far as self-employed people are concerned, smashed every month by the social security payments that they have to make regardless of income. You can have a month where you don't make any income at all and you're still going to be forking out a lot of money for your social security, and that's the issue that a lot of people are dealing with. And then put on top of that tax, put on top of that VAT, and away you go trying to be successful as an entrepreneur in Spain. But yeah, Chris, you're right. Doesn't matter which government has been in power, it's always been the same. It's a system that doesn't favour the self-employed or small businesses. But anyway, will it get any better anytime soon? Probably not. Probably not. Because I don't think it's in the interest of the companies that control the country to have competition coming from down below. And you only have to look at the amount of tech giants that have popped out of Spain in the last 20 or 30 years to realize that that is the case. And if a tech giant does pop up, for example, they have popped up in the form of delivery companies like Glovo, and they get absolutely smashed by the Spanish government and the court system for not adhering to the rules and regulations. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Glovo. Thanks for that, Chris. One here from Jay. Hi, Stu. Again from Peñíscola, which you mentioned having 80% of the homes here as second homes. I have been living here year-round since I returned from Tenerife 3 years ago. Yes, it's dead in winter except for mostly retirees and locals. I'm still relatively young and there isn't much to do here in winter and very limited social opportunities. Thanks, Jay. And sorry to see that there's not much social activity going on in the town where you are there. Obviously looking for it. Peñíscola. 80% of the homes, second homes, and mostly dead in winter. So this is a town on that Mediterranean coast that does suffer from that ghost town effect, according to Jay there. And the people that do stick around for those winter months, probably the retired people that are looking to just have a relaxed lifestyle in Spain, not looking for any type of nightlife or anything like that, or vibrant restaurant scene, perhaps not. And that's the story there, according to Jay. And maybe it was different in Tenerife, I don't know. But Peñíscola, which would be a city now in the month of August, extremely busy in Castellón. North of Castellón, I think it is, Peñíscola. Have to be careful with the pronunciation of that word there. Very, very busy, I imagine it is. And come September, come the 15th of September, when kids start going back to school, the ghost town begins. And the final one here from Laugh. I sold my house in Galicia. Spain is going in the wrong direction, according to Laugh. Thanks, Laugh, for the comment. Obviously not agreeing with the first or the second comment that we saw there, that Pedro Sanchez is doing a great job, as Laugh has decided to sell up and get out of Spain because it's going in the wrong direction. Don't know which direction Laugh would like Spain to go in. Obviously, as I said, not agreeing with current government policy or some of the things that are occurring. No more specifics there from Laugh. We just have to take his word for it that it's not going in the right direction according to him. So thanks, Laugh, for the comment, and good luck with your next venture, your next home purchase, wherever it may be. Let us know if you can. We're curious to know where you have sold up and moved on to. Let us know, please. Please, I would love to know. Now, time to go into the live chat. Before I do, I've got a few things to do here quickly, which I always do. One is put the email address on the screen so that people can get in contact with me if they have any information that they would like to send my way. Pictures that will go on the backdrop when I get into my green screen setup again. And also, as I said, articles if you've got something to send my way. Erica sent me a few in recent times about what's happening where she is in Spain. So feel free to send your information through to that email address. And for people that sign me up to different things using my email address, don't be a clown. Just stop doing that type of thing. Somebody recently signed me up to something which obviously they thought would be quite funny. So thanks for that. And but as I said, let's be serious about this and mature about this, and not signing people up just because you have their email address for something. So thanks for that. Also, I'm going to put the like button on the screen. If you have or if you haven't, hit the like icon yet. We're currently sitting at, what is it there, 61 likes. So do us a favor, also hit that like icon if you can. Just below the video, you will find it. And if you're watching on a television set, which is becoming very popular in recent times, people watching YouTube videos on their televisions through the YouTube app, you probably have to go into the settings, but do us a favor and find it and hit that like icon as well if you can. People that have supported the channel in recent times through the super thanks option or super chat here on the live streams, people that have bought me a coffee, people who are longer term supporters on Patreon, thank you very much for that. And of course, the members of the channel here on YouTube, again, thank you very much for that support. And no doubt when I go into the live chat section now, we'll see some of those people that are supporting the channel through their memberships. So thank you very much for that. And also, let me see if I can find it. It's always difficult to find these things. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do us a favor. Still surprised by the amount of people that watch these videos regularly but are not subscribed to the channel. So do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. Thank you very much for that. Now, into the chat. Let's see what's bubbling away. Let me scroll up to the top. Some chat action going on here. Someone's just given the video a dislike, so thank you very much for that. A valued member of the channel as well. James is the first person that I can see here. Evening all, or evening Stu and all, from James and Kathy in a breezy yet sunny Worcester. Lured Kathy from watering the garden, and a white wine and a lemon olive oil dip. Sounds nice, guys. Enjoy. White wine, olive oil dip. Spanish olive oil, I imagine. Sani's in the chat too. Good evening, everyone. Hope you've had a good start to the week. Thanks, Sani, for that. Not bad. No complaints so far the start to the week. Antonio is also in the chat here. Howdy, Stu, from about 5,000 miles away in Corpus Christi, Texas. I hope all is well. I'm on my 150-day countdown till I retire and move to Asturias. Any favorite hotspots you like in Asturias? Nothing springs to mind, Antonio. I've been to different places there in that part of Spain. The north of the country, of course, green Spain. Where can I remember? Yeah, I think it's interesting on both sides of the let's say the divide that they say there in Asturias. You've got the city of Gijón, and then of course you've got part of Asturias that goes towards Cantabria, and the other half goes towards Galicia. Interesting place. But in general, I like the whole area up there in the north of the country. I haven't been disappointed anywhere there yet, except for maybe a little bit of wet weather in those winter months. But that is to be expected, of course. If you want the green, that is it. High Flyer John is in the chat. Evening all, settling down with a well-deserved Cruz Campo or two ready for tonight's live stream. All the best, John. Thanks, John. Valued member is John. We can see there the little yellow mark beside his name, as is Al, who's currently in El Puerto. Crowded there, 27 degrees. Hope everyone in at the proper temperature. Thanks, Al, for that. Enjoying his time back in Spain is Al. Renan, hello Stu, and good evening to everyone. Thanks for that, Renan, coming in from LA, a regular viewer, of course. Bronny is also in the chat here too. Sunny and 19 in South Wales, best wishes. Thanks, Bronny, good to see you this evening. What else we got going on here? Jeff is in the chat from Casas de Benitez in, where is that, Jeff? Albacete, is it? 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but no humidity. We'll be jumping into the pool as soon as this is over. Well, I'll try and get it finished quickly, Jeff, so you can cool down in the pool. Thanks for watching. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Constantino is in the chat here too. August the 12th, 2026, a total solar eclipse will cross northern Spain, marking the first solar eclipse in continental Europe since 1999. The path of totality, approximately 300 kilometers wide. There we go, for people interested in the total solar eclipse, August the 12th, 2026. So nearly a year away. Thanks, Constantino, for the info. Casa del Sol Boutique Bed and Breakfast down there in Benalmádena. Hi from there. Restaurants are not busy. The businesses are feeling it here, even some only operating in the evenings. What a difference from 2022. I'm getting, how can I say this? Conflicting reports, I think, would be the best way to say this. Some people are saying that Malaga, I think somebody said the other day that Malaga was heaving. I saw in the press reported that local tourism in that part of Spain is down, and here we have Casa del Sol Boutique Bed and Breakfast saying that in Benalmádena, restaurants are not busy. Businesses are feeling it there. So maybe some backlash. I don't know. But as I said, contradicting reports coming out at the moment. The British press is fairly hot with this at the moment, saying that places like Mallorca are suffering. Even the Portuguese press got onto that the other day. But people in Mallorca or other Balearic Islands saying, no, it's heaving there as well. So who knows what to believe? We'll see the figures at the end of the year. But officially, Spain is breaking records again this year as far as international tourists are concerned. Andrew is in the chat here too. Good evening, Stuart and all. Hope your week is off to a good start from a very windy London southeast. Good to see you, Andrew. Valued member of the channel as well. Red saying here, go to Greenland. Why? To cool down? Maybe we need to go to Greenland to cool down. Not sure if that's the reason, but I suppose that it is. Wasn't Greenland a country that made headlines recently? Or in the last 6 months? Was it not Greenland? Ezra is in the chat. Hey mate, I was in Emporada, Costa Brava in the last 2 days. Insane the gear, and there was no wind. Keep up being so witty and funny with everyone. It makes me laugh so hard with your Aussie banter. Thanks, Ezra, for that. Been in the on the Costa Brava for the last couple of days. Insane the gear. Not sure what gear Ezra's referring to there. Hope it's not what some people call gear. Maybe it is. Don't know. Grey Dog. It's August in Spain. For God's sake, says Grey Dog. It's August. It's hot. Thanks, Grey Dog, for your input on the channel. And I'm sure that your position at the Weather Bureau is waiting for you when you get back from holidays. Gigi's in the chat here too. Greetings from sunny and hot Surprise, Arizona, where temperatures today are expected to reach 45. Pool time. Yep, I reckon that is pool time, Gigi. 45 degrees Celsius, sizzling away there in Surprise, Arizona. And watch out for snakes. I reckon that would be snake territory as well. Mike is in the chat from Vermilion, Canada. 40 degrees Celsius there. Summer in full swing. Thanks, Mike. Get a lot of difference in temperatures in that part of the world. Mike, in the winter months, comes in telling us it's 20 below. Now it's 40 above. Billy is also in the chat here too. Stuart, I would really like to see you do a piece about Campos Sol in Murcia. There has been so much negative publicity about it. I would like to see your opinion. All right, Billy, I could organise something like that. Negative publicity about it. I think there's a couple of, more than a couple of videos on YouTube, of course. I think there's a YouTuber out there that regularly comes or puts videos out from Campos Sol. He doesn't seem to complain too much about it. Kev, I think, is living on Campos Sol, regular viewer of the channel. No complaints either from Kev. So I suppose it's positive or negative according to how you look at it. I know that it did have some bad publicity back in the day because of dodgy constructions, but I believe it was only one part of the Campo Sol, and the story, if I remember correctly, goes that it was a dodgy builder, Justo and Manoli SL, who were behind the dodgy buildings and subsequently declared bankruptcy, and people lost a lot of money back in the day. But thanks, Billy. If I ever get around to doing that, I'll let you know. Terry is in the chat here, coming in from Hampshire in the UK, valued member of the channel. So looking forward to spending lots of time in Los Gallardos, Almeria, again in September, October. Thanks, Terry. Hope all goes well with your trip back to that part of the country in the months that you mentioned there. September, October, when the tourism season starts to wind down a little bit. Chrissy, a regular viewer too, 4 degrees in Salah in the shade, very, very hot. 4 degrees, Chrissy, stay well. El Puerto de Santa Maria says El stays pretty busy in the off-season. Not as busy as August, but pretty robust, especially over the holidays there. Thanks, Al, for that. So maybe bucking the trend there. Joe, also adding to the conversation about the topic of these ghost towns. Hello, Stuart. We live in a vacation destination city with 2,400 residents. It swells, I think that is, to 30,000 in the summer months. Same phenomenon here. Local struggle for housing, local business owners. Thanks for that. Yes, that is the issue. Struggle for housing with all of those empty places there, I imagine, that sit with the shutters down for 9 or 10 months of the year. Struggle for employees due to lack of housing. There we go. That's it. Yeah, because the housing is in the hands of the people who don't live there. Only use it for 3 months of the year or less. What else? Let's see. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look if I can find something. One here from Al. Hello all from a cloudy San Jose, Costa Rica. My wife and I were in Torrevieja last year, and we didn't like it. Too many foreigners, not much of a Spanish feel in our perspective. Thanks, Al. Too many foreigners, so obviously meaning that there's too many British people there maybe, or too many Northern Europeans, Scandinavians probably as well. Didn't get that Spanish vibe going on. To be honest, I haven't been to Torrevieja. I was close not long ago. I was in the southern tip of Alicante, in Pilar de Orcada or something, I think it is, just down the road from Torrevieja, but I didn't make it to the famous Torrevieja. Maybe I should have headed up the highway. Jamie, ¿qué tal? Just returned to the UK after 2 wonderful weeks in Mojaca. Love the food, people and lovely beaches. Looking forward to a trip to Santander in September. Thanks, Jamie. Good to see you like the south of Spain and ready to go to Cantabria, Santander in the north of the country, which will be completely different to the south, completely different to the dry conditions of Almeria. Ezra is saying here, you have to get paid half your income offshore. It's the only way if you're freelance. Thanks, Ezra. Yeah, I'm sure that could be one of the ways around it, but not easy. Antonio, hello Stuart and everyone. I don't think those Sanchez supporters have read The Economist. The Economist explains everything regarding Sanchez. Thanks, Antonio. We saw earlier in the live stream this evening a pro Sanchez supporter saying that he's done a great job, fantastic. We saw someone the other day praising Pedro Sanchez too, saying the greatest leader Spain has ever had, I think were the words. And Antonio saying maybe you need to read the Economist article a little bit more closely. and then come to your conclusions about Mr. Sanchez. I don't know. But all I'm going to say again is the big security entourage looking after Mr. Sanchez currently will probably give you an idea of his level of popularity among some Spaniards. Bob in the chat as well from Torrevieja. When we go for our walk in the autumn and winter Sundays, we play a game called Spot the Occupied Apartment Flat. Or flat, sorry. No, not a ghost town, but much quieter. There we go. So not a ghost town, according to Bob, but quieter. Thanks, Bob, for your input. From a Torrevieja resident, of course, Bob and Jill down there. Stephen also goes to Torrevieja quite a bit. Happy to catch the live stream during the week. Heading back to Torrevieja tomorrow. I can say from my experience or Stephen's experience that it's open for business all year round. There we go. Thanks for the input. That's what we like. Stephen, just remember to hit the like icon. We're up to 111 now, Stephen. So thanks for that. Maybe yours was the 111th. DNA saying, what's the best place to be if you're physically disabled on a very little retirement income? Well, to be honest, DNA, I've got no idea where the best place to be would be with those characteristics that you say there, low income and physically disabled. But we'll open it up to the community. I'm sure we'll get some answers. Also saying here, I don't care about coastal towns, love the mountains, but not snow. Yeah, a lot of the mountains in Spain, especially in the north of the country, get snow. So I don't know whether that's going to be an option. Frank saying the town doubles in the summer. The tourists are mostly Spaniards, though. Not sure what town Frank's referring to. Maybe Torrevieja, I don't know. Mick's just back from Barcelona. Great time as always. Looking forward to Alicante next month. There we go. Getting around is Mick. Barcelona 1 month, Alicante the next. Kathy coming in from Missouri. They're in the States. Thanks for that. Albert saying the locals in Alicante have been amazing. They do get a lot of cruisers coming in, but they tolerate them. Being outside the city proper, I enjoy a quieter life with the locals. Thanks, Albert, for that. Thank you very much. What else we've got going on here? Cuenca is where Casas de Benítez is, but a few kilometres bicycling distance from Albacete. So close to the border between those two provinces there. Joe saying, according to AI, Spain is very small business friendly, with these businesses making up 96% of all businesses. There we go. So according to AI, says Joe. Thanks for that. Personal experience, of course, Joe, I would dispute that. I know that there are lots of small businesses in Spain, of course, because people have to make a living. And when a country has very high unemployment, people are forced to go their own way. But yeah, business friendly according to AI. Interesting. Gillian in the chat is here as well. When Malaga is heaving, it's because there are cruise ships in port. Thanks, Gillian, for that. What else we got going on here? Ezra meant the weather, not the gear. Thanks for sorting that out, Ezra. Didn't know what the gear meant. A lot of times when you talk about gear, you're talking about illegal substances. I didn't know whether that was the case in Alicante or wherever it was that we mentioned before, but thanks for sorting it out. Greenland says, Andrew, Trump wants it to become a US state. It's actually Danish. There we go. I thought there was something related to Greenland that was in the press in recent times, and yeah, we see what it is. Has that gone off the cards now, or is it just on the back burner? Peter saying, I hope you don't mind me butting in. Of course not, Peter. What have you got to say? Let us know if there's anything. Albert saying here, Trump's desire to annex both Greenland and Canada is backfiring. Canada has made a deal with Australia to build an over-the-horizon radar system, completely bypassing America, says Albert. There we go. So the Canadians not happy with Mr. Trump's antics. Charlie, mountains but not snow, sounds like central or south of Spain, but probably a city on the train line for ease of public transport. Getting back to the comment we saw before from, who was it? DNA, I think it was. There we go, some feedback already. Charlie saying Spain might be business friendly, but autonomos need to be very successful after a couple of years. There we go. Charlie speaking from personal experience there. What else? Yeah, we've worked out that it wasn't the gear that we thought it was, Charlie. It was the weather, apparently. Thanks for that. What else? And 1, 2, 3. It's not just Spain's tourist numbers are down. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world, and that makes people hold back on spending. There we go. So that could also be the reason there, according to 1, 2, 3 valued member. Thanks for that. And the last chat that is in the chat section tonight. So I'm going to start to wrap it up. It's been a pleasure as always. Great to have people watching the video and contributing in the chat section. Fantastic. I'll be back again on Thursday with another live stream. Hope to see you then. Until that day comes around, have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.